Have you noticed that famous desserts from your parents' and grandparents' time are quietly disappearing from the dining table? The light-as-a-cloud chiffon cake, the ambrosia salad once called food of the gods, or the pineapple upside-down cake with the aroma of butter and pineapple, all of them were once the pride of many housewives, but are gradually falling into oblivion. Today, let's explore with us 25 famous dessert recipes our grandparents knew and we've forgotten. Chiffon cake. The chiffon cake soared in popularity right after World War II, becoming a symbol of lightness and airiness without requiring the scarce and expensive butter supply. This cake was praised for its cloud-like, airy texture, but the genius secret lay in the use of vegetable oil as a complete replacement for butter. The clever women of that era realized that oil was not only cheaper and easier to store than the rationed butter. They learned how to whip egg whites until super smooth, combining them with the oil's moisture to keep the cake soft and prevent it from ever drying out. This not only achieved a cloud-like texture and solved the post-war ingredient scarcity problem, but it also felt lighter on the stomach. However, the simplicity and elegance of the chiffon cake gradually became less appealing as tastes shifted toward more complex, elaborate desserts with richer fillings. And the health movement raised concerns about refined flour and high sugar content. Today, when looking for light options, the delicate texture of the chiffon cake remains a wonderful choice, a cherished reminder of the intelligence and finesse of homemakers from the past. Fondue, chocolate or cheese. Fondue, especially chocolate fondue, wasn't just a food item. It was a highly communal dining experience that exploded in popularity during the 1970s. The unique selling point of fondue was that it transformed dessert into an interactive table event. It required everyone to gather around the pot of melted cheese or chocolate, dipping fruits or cookies into the hot chocolate, enhancing the fun and intimacy of parties. Meanwhile, Mom cleverly controlled the melt consistency using white wine and kept the pot warm with a burner, ensuring a perfect guest experience. Later, lifestyle changes led people to seek faster, less interactive dining experiences, and concerns over high calorie and fat content reduced its popularity at modern parties. However, fondue still retains a strong nostalgic charm. Today, the trend toward at-home DIY experiences, coupled with the use of healthier ingredients, is seeing fondue slowly return as a meaningful communal dining experience. Viennetta. Viennetta was the pinnacle of 1980s frozen desserts, delivering a feeling of luxury even when purchased ready-made from the grocery store. Many people still remember its elegant appearance, characterized by alternating thin layers of cream and crunchy chocolate. The secret to making this dessert was the delicate cream layering technique, achieved by pouring ultra-cold cream alternately with liquid chocolate to create natural crackled veins, delivering a complex, luxurious look that consumers could simply buy, minimizing the lengthy process of making elaborate ice cream cakes at home. It redefined convenience in frozen desserts of that era. Regrettably, Viennetta was overshadowed by the arrival of craft ice creams and other premium frozen desserts, which offered more complex and diverse flavors, often advertised as more natural. The market shifted to prioritize artisanal items, rendering Viennetta's simple elegance unable to compete. Pineapple upside-down cake. This pineapple upside-down cake was an American staple from the early 20th century, but it saw a remarkable resurgence in the 1980s, becoming a common fixture in family kitchens. Its hallmark is the vibrant jewel-like layer of caramelized pineapple and cherries on top, a gorgeous sight once the cake is inverted. To achieve this, clever homemakers sprinkled brown sugar and butter directly onto the bottom of the pan to caramelize the pineapple right in the oven. After baking and flipping, the cake automatically sported an attractive, colorful decorative layer, making the baker look skillful without needing complex decorating techniques. This also capitalized on the availability and affordability of canned pineapple in the 80s, an excellent economic solution. Its popularity faded as culinary trends moved toward lower sugar options and away from canned fruits. Furthermore, this dish wasn't Instagram-worthy enough in the modern foodie culture era. Nevertheless, it remains a cherished reminder of past baking traditions, a simple recipe loaded with the wonderful cleverness of homemakers. Texas sheet cake. The Texas sheet cake is a large, thin chocolate cake, famous in Texas, and once a staple at community events like funerals and church gatherings, affectionately known as the church lady cake. This cake was perfect for feeding a crowd when most people's budgets were a little tighter, showcasing its economy and ability to serve large groups. To successfully make this cake, Texas homemakers had to pour warm frosting over the cake while it was still hot. This allowed the frosting to partially soak into the cake, creating a unique, moist texture, keeping the surface damp, soft, and glossy, a time-honored secret passed down by homemakers. When more sophisticated and complex desserts like tiramisu emerged, this simple and convenient cake lost its top position. Nevertheless, its ease of preparation and ability to serve a crowd mean it is still a cherished comfort food, a legacy of Southern hospitality and generosity. German chocolate cake. The German chocolate cake is a rich, moist chocolate cake, famous for the unique baking chocolate formula created by inventor Samuel German. But its most memorable feature is the characteristic coconut pecan frosting, intensely sweet, chewy, and crunchy. Samuel German's secret was using his sweet, dark chocolate formula to create a stark difference from modern recipes that typically use bitter or savory chocolate, ensuring its signature balanced sweetness. However, this cake has faced competition from newer desserts, and the overly sweet and dense coconut pecan frosting doesn't align with the current trend of seeking lighter, lower sugar options. Nevertheless, it remains a nostalgic favorite for the older generation, symbolizing those elaborate birthday cream cakes. Today, chefs can improve this cake by reducing the amount of sugar or using lighter components to suit modern palates. Jello salad. Who remembers the colorful, jiggly Jello salad that used to be the centerpiece of every family party in the 60s and 70s? This dish became an American cultural phenomenon, where women's creativity shone through its vibrant colors and playful shapes, captivating every child. The secret to making these gelatin molds was using gelatin to bind all sorts of ingredients, from canned fruits, vegetables, marshmallows, and even mayonnaise or cheese. Everything was molded perfectly to maintain an attractive, fun, and appealing structure, making it a vibrant highlight on the party table. It represented convenience and the ability to quickly transform common ingredients into a culinary masterpiece, demonstrating the cleverness of women at that time. Today, it is considered outdated due to the rise of the natural eating trend. Concerns over artificial ingredients caused Jello salad to lose its initial prominence. But this dish is tied to memories of family gatherings, and if remade using natural gelatin and fresh fruit, it would surely return as an icon of sweet nostalgia. If these sweet memories remind you of your grandmother or mother, hit the HYPE button below so we can collectively preserve and cherish these recipes that have faded over the years. Harvey Wallbanger cake. The Harvey Wallbanger cake is a colorful dessert inspired by the famous cocktail of the same name, combining orange, vodka, and Galliano flavors, becoming widely popular in the 1970s. The genius recipe for this cake was to infuse the liquor directly into the cake. Homemakers often added a small spoonful of pudding mix to the batter to keep the cake moist and better retain the orange vanilla Galliano flavor, delivering a distinctive tangy, sweet, punchy taste that turned dessert into a celebratory treat. It exemplified the trend of using ready-made ingredients to create quick yet complex flavored dishes. Later, tastes changed, and the emergence of more sophisticated liqueur-soaked cakes diminished its uniqueness, coupled with its heavy reliance on pre-made ingredients, which doesn't align with today's shift toward natural foods. Cherries Jubilee. Cherries Jubilee is a dessert inspired by Queen Victoria's Jubilee celebration, and its trick is similar to Banana's Foster, utilizing stewed cherries in a flambéed liqueur sauce, usually served with vanilla ice cream. This dish became a symbol of elegance and extravagance in high-end restaurants and parties of the time. The genius trick of Cherries' Jubilee was the flambe technique, creating table-side theatrics, which enhanced the deep flavor of the liquor and provided a special experience. Using cold butter and brown sugar to sauté the cherries before flambeing was the secret to making the sauce thick and keeping the fruit intact, creating a warm, shimmering performance. Although still a beloved classic, the formality and elaborateness of the flambe presentation means Cherries' Jubilee is now only found in traditional high-end restaurants. In the family kitchen, it disappeared due to the danger and inconvenience of handling fire and high-proof liquor. Cherries' Jubilee is a legacy of an era when dining was an artistic performance, something modern, busy life no longer affords the time or space to maintain. Ambrosia salad. Ambrosia salad was once a fixture at American holiday parties, especially in the 60s and 70s, with a charming name that means food of the gods. Ambrosia salad is a blend of colors and textures from canned fruit, marshmallows, coconut, and whipped cream or sour cream. This dish was a trick to create richness and festivity using only ingredients readily available in the pantry. The key element in the recipe is mixing in the marshmallows 10 minutes beforehand so they absorb water from the fruit, making the salad soft and moist without becoming runny. This allowed busy homemakers to create a beautiful dish without complex baking or cooking. However, this dish declined because of its heavy reliance on canned ingredients. And the modern eating trend, which favors fresh, natural ingredients and demands more refined presentation, led to this dish falling out of favor. Although considered outdated, the nostalgic value of Ambrosia salad is preserved in many people's memories of warm holiday reunions. Grasshopper pie. Grasshopper pie was a prominent cold dessert of the 60s, characterized by its cool, minty flavor, vibrant green color, and crushed chocolate crust. This pie was inspired by the grasshopper cocktail, becoming a perfect choice for hot summer days. The highlight of this pie lies in the combination of mint and chocolate flavors, along with the vibrant artificial green color, creating a unique taste and eye-catching appearance. Notably, people often put the mixing bowl into the freezer for 10 minutes before whipping the crème de menthe and marshmallow fluff so the filling became thick and cold, maintaining the perfect pie shape. This dish gradually declined and became outdated, heavily affected by the trend of avoiding artificial colors and flavors as consumers started caring more about natural ingredients. However, the unique flavor and playful color of grasshopper pie still hold a distinct appeal, and it could make a strong comeback if remade using natural, artificial, color-free ingredients, honoring the boundless creativity of women in the kitchen. Tunnel of fudge cake. In 1966, stemming from the 1966 Pillsbury Bake-Off competition, the tunnel of fudge cake emerged as a phenomenon. This is a chocolate cake characterized by an innovative, soft fudge filling located right inside, wowing everyone with its mystery. This cake was a structural and textural innovation, aiming to achieve the perfect soft filling inside without having to add the filling after baking. The secret was not to overbake, so the edges were cooked, but the center was slightly jiggly, allowing it to form the characteristic soft fudge layer once cooled, subtly letting the baker show off their talent. However, it is very difficult to achieve the soft filling without undercooking the cake, and its high-calorie, rich nature no longer fits the 21st century trend of seeking lighter options. Nevertheless, the enduring love for chocolate always guarantees the potential for the tunnel of fudge cake to revive. But it likely needs simplified preparation techniques or healthier ingredients for it to return to the family kitchen. Bananas Foster. Bananas Foster is a classic dessert using bananas, vanilla ice cream, and a sauce of rum, butter, and cinnamon, which was a beloved dessert in upscale restaurants and gradually became popular in family kitchens during the 1970s. It was popular among adults and homemakers who wanted to treat themselves to a restaurant-quality dish. The highlight of this dish was the flambe performance, igniting the rum right at the table, a theatrical technique that allowed the cook to show off their skills. By turning off the heat Before pouring the liquor, then tilting the pan to ignite it, they created rich caramel without burning the sugar, transforming the meal into a high-quality restaurant experience right at home. Because it required skill and safety precautions, coupled with the decline of formal dining experiences and the preference for quick, easy home recipes, this dish gradually disappeared. Nevertheless, it remains a delightful comfort food and could be revived through creative adaptations, such as making lighter versions or non-flambe options. Black Forest cake. Black Forest cake, a German masterpiece, was one of the most stunning and luxurious desserts at family gatherings in the 70s, featuring multiple layers of chocolate cake, sour cherries, and fresh cream meticulously stacked. This cake is the perfect blend of chocolate bitterness, cherry tartness, and cream richness, creating a rich sensory experience. The unique element that defines the cake's signature flavor is the use of Kirsch cherry brandy, or sometimes rum, to soak the cherries, producing a distinctive, pungent sourness. Soaking the cherries in Kirsch overnight for a deeper, fragrant flavor that wouldn't make the cake soggy was a secret skillfully shared among homemakers. Regrettably, this dish declined due to its elaborate assembly, rich flavor, and time-consuming preparation process, making it unsuitable for the current trend towards simpler, minimalist, and lighter desserts. It also doesn't fit the health-conscious demographic due to its high sugar and fat content. Dacquoise. Dacquoise is a sophisticated dessert of French origin, consisting of layers of nutty meringue, often pecan or almond, and buttercream. It imparts a luxurious, light, yet incredibly rich feeling, making it a common sight at weddings or significant events. Dacquoise is a textural marvel. The trick is mixing a little almond flour into the meringue first to create a natural crispness and better layer form, achieving a delicate crunch that completely distinguishes it from standard cream cakes. It represents the meticulousness and high skill of the baker. However, the extremely meticulous preparation requirements and high richness, lots of sugar and fat, make it unsuitable for the trend-seeking quick light desserts, nor the gluten-free trend. Its inherent elegance still strongly appeals to connoisseurs, and Dacquoise could be rediscovered if healthier alternative ingredients are used. Baked Alaska. Baked Alaska was once the pinnacle of dessert luxury, an almost magical combination of cake, cold ice cream, and an outer layer of meringue. The clever trick employed by homemakers here was using the meringue layer to act as an insulator. They skillfully whipped and applied the meringue very thickly, at least 1.5 to 2 centimeters, to allow baking or flambeing the exterior without melting the cold ice cream inside. This transformed it into a striking and elaborate dessert. However, the very complexity and time-consuming nature of the preparation, especially perfecting the meringue layer and the flambe effect, made it unpopular for everyday baking or in modern restaurants. The hot-cold contrast and impressive presentation of Baked Alaska still hold a special appeal. Today, modern chefs are still finding ways to create simplified versions and use more ready-made ingredients to produce this dish. Crepe Suzette. Crepe Suzette is famous for its delicate, soft crepes soaked in a buttery, sugary orange sauce, culminating in an impressive flambe spectacle. This elegant French dessert was popular in high-end restaurants and considered the height of sophistication in the 1970s. This dish requires the technique of making silk-thin crepes in a fragrant orange sauce, creating a balanced flavor profile of sour, sweet, and rich. To make this dish, women had to know how to use the flambe technique on the orange sauce, and adding finely grated orange zest to the sauce would enhance the natural flavor without needing extra sugar. However, modern customers prefer dishes that are fast, less complicated, and lighter. And the flambe technique can be intimidating for home cooks, which is why this dish gradually faded. This dish is a reminder that we have lost patience and respect for recipes requiring meticulousness, prioritizing convenience and speed instead. Rhumbaba. Have you ever heard of rhumbaba? This is a famous European dessert made from a yeast-leavened cake that is then thoroughly soaked in rum syrup, decorated with fresh cream or fruit. This dish is known for its richness, high alcohol saturation, and strong flavor. The technique to make this cake is liquor soaking, which helps the cake retain deep moisture and become juicy and delicious, satisfying the most discerning guests. However, this dish is too rich, high in calories, and the preparation process is complex because it requires precise yeast cake making and liquor soaking. Rhumbaba was gradually replaced by lighter desserts. Nevertheless, its rich history means this cake is still used today in lighter or non-alcoholic versions. And we can still appreciate the ingenuity of the women who created this culinary liquor soaking technique. If you've watched our videos before, please comment "I'm back" so I can see your name again in the comment section. Lady Baltimore Cake. Lady Baltimore cake is a culinary tradition of the American South, famous for its elegance and a special filling made from dried fruits and nuts, mixed into a soft, smooth meringue frosting. This cake is a symbol of meticulousness, requiring the woman to dedicate significant effort and love to complete it. First, the frosting was meticulously whipped to maintain durability under various environmental conditions, ensuring the cake remained pristine and attractive throughout the party. Skillful homemakers also soaked the dried fruit in hot water or light liquor before mixing to ensure the filling was moist, fragrant, and not tough. A small secret that made a difference in quality. However, the labor-intensive preparation and the heavy feel of the traditional cake do not align with today's minimalist and low-sugar trends. Modern palates lean toward less elaborate dishes, causing this culinary heritage to gradually be forgotten. Lady Baltimore cake is a precious cultural heritage of the South, still made today with healthier ingredients, but maintaining a connection to American baking history, honoring the diligence of previous generations. Charlotte Russe. Charlotte Russe was once a symbol of elegance at sophisticated parties of the past. This dessert combines rich cream and lady fingers, meticulously layered to form an impressive, complex cold cake. It resembled a crowned centerpiece on the party table, a dish that grandmothers and mothers proudly displayed. The successful formula here was the layering and cream stabilization technique. The woman would skillfully line the mold with lady fingers lightly dipped in simple syrup, just soft enough to bend to the mold but not fall apart, creating a complex cake structure that required high precision for elegance and sophistication. However, such assembly is very time-consuming and complicated. Modern trends favor light dishes, leaning toward fruit and less processing, causing this elaborate cream cake to gradually fade. Although Charlotte Russe has lost its prominence, for many, it still recalls an era when homemakers valued both flavor and appearance, prioritizing presentation as part of their hospitality. Chocolate Depression cake. Anyone born during the Great Depression must surely remember the Chocolate Depression cake. This dish was hailed as one of the best inventions of the era and was also affectionately known as poor man's cake. Why was it called that? Because this cake was baked without any ingredients like eggs, milk, or butter. The clever woman found a way to activate baking soda using vinegar and warm water right in the pan, so the cake rose evenly without eggs, butter, or milk, radically solving the economic and ingredient scarcity issues during that difficult time. When the Great Depression ended and ingredients became more plentiful, this economical cake was gradually forgotten, but it remains a lesson in resourcefulness and creativity in adversity. Bread pudding. Bread pudding is a warm dessert originating in Europe in the 11th century, but significantly improved and popularized in America in the 1980s. It is the perfect dish for maximizing leftovers. It transforms stale bread, milk, and eggs into a hearty and luxurious dessert, a wonderful technique for preventing waste. American homemakers' innovations in 1980 included adding fresh cream and bourbon to increase richness and flavor complexity. In many people's memories, it was a dish grandmothers and mothers often made on cold weekend afternoons, providing maximum warmth and comfort. Its warmth and rich texture, combined with the economic sense of utilizing stale bread, mean bread pudding is still loved as a comfort food. Amid countless modern dessert options, bread pudding, though delicious, is still sometimes considered a poor dish and lacks visual appeal, not fitting modern aesthetic standards. Chocolate haystacks. Chocolate haystacks are a simple, no-bake dessert made from crunchy chow mein noodles and melted chocolate, a product of the make-do-with-what-you-have era. This dish was a perfect solution for busy families wanting a quick, crunchy, and unique treat without turning on the oven. When making this, grandmothers and mothers had a trick: mixing the chow mein noodles into the chocolate before it had completely set to maintain a crispy texture, preventing them from becoming soft or clumpy, a simple yet effective technique for creating a unique, appealing texture. Children of the 90s loved this treat at parties for its crunchiness and rich chocolate flavor. Although it's less mentioned today, it symbolizes the resourcefulness and ingenuity of clever women who always found ways to create sweet joy using the most basic ingredients. Therefore, it deserves to be revived as a quick, nostalgic, no-bake dessert. Chocolate mayonnaise cake. Chocolate mayonnaise cake is a unique dessert that gained prominence during World War II due to food rationing, when homemakers were forced to be creative to produce a cake that was both delicious and economical, a clever wartime solution. After the war, butter became an expensive and scarce ingredient due to frequent rationing. At that time, clever homemakers discovered that mayonnaise could be used to replace traditional fat ingredients like butter or oil. Because mayonnaise helped the cake achieve special moisture and richness without needing butter. Although it remained popular until the 80s for its excellent moist texture, the name sounded weird to later consumers, likely causing it to gradually be overshadowed by other cakes. This cake symbolizes wartime ingenuity, showing how skillfully our grandmothers and mothers transformed seemingly unrelated ingredients into a wonderful dish. And it still deserves to be remembered as a comfort food. Chocolate potato cake. Chocolate potato cake first appeared in the 1930s and became famous in places where people had to make do with what they had during difficult times. The secret of grandmothers and mothers when making this cake was adding mashed potatoes to the batter. Potatoes were common, inexpensive, and available all the time. And adding them was a fantastic way to boost moisture, texture, and even sneak in vegetables into dessert without affecting the flavor, a clever technique employed by homemakers. As the economy grew and ingredients became more plentiful, the need for substitute foods diminished, and the idea of potatoes and cake became unnecessary, causing this dish to gradually be forgotten. This cake is a symbol of maximizing ingredients and the resourcefulness of the previous generation, encouraging the younger generation to try to see how ingeniously grandmothers and mothers overcame adversity. The Tom and Jerry. The Tom and Jerry is not just a cocktail, but a warm, spicy, and frothy dessert, an indispensable part of American holiday tradition. From the 19th century until the mid-20th century, this drink dessert appeared at every Christmas party and on cozy winter nights gathered by the fireplace. The flavor combines egg whites, liquor, and warm spices. The clever ingenuity of this dish is the ritual of whipping the egg whites until frothy. This was a manual trick, demonstrating the effort and love of the woman in the family who dedicated time to create a complex drink dessert, bringing a sense of warmth and luxury to the holidays. However, as the world shifted toward quick, convenient cocktails, the Tom and Jerry became too elaborate and gradually disappeared from the party table. The nostalgic charm of the Tom and Jerry, coupled with the opportunity for innovation in non-alcoholic versions, promises a comeback, as it brings a strong sense of connection to traditional holidays of the past. For many, the Tom and Jerry is not just a recipe, but a part of old holiday memories, connecting the family through simple yet profound care. It's a cake whose very name is a joyful dare, the Sock It To Me cake. This is a golden, buttery bundt cake, tall and proud. This cake was popular starting in the 1970s, famous for its intense moisture and more complex flavor compared to regular bundt cakes. The biggest Southern secret to creating this incredible texture is the use of sour cream in the batter, which keeps the cake moist, tender, and delicious for days, making it ideal for big families. The secret swirl inside is a mix of brown sugar, cinnamon, and pecans, which melts and lightly caramelizes during baking, forming a warm, smooth ribbon of flavor throughout the cake. After baking, the cake is usually drizzled with a simple powdered sugar glaze, adding shine and sweetness. What sets this cake apart from modern versions is the signature moisture that the sour cream imparts, a flavor that cannot be replicated by pre-made mixes, showcasing the baker's skill. Do you remember that mint green fluffy salad that every Southerner loved? Watergate salad is a retro Southern classic, a no-bake dessert. It's a fun and unique mix of instant pistachio pudding mix, crushed pineapple, mini marshmallows, chopped nuts, and whipped cream. The vibrant emerald green color and that soft pillow-like texture made it stand out on the church potluck table and at family gatherings. This is a perfect example of how clever Southern homemakers utilized 20th century convenience products to create a quick dish that was still festive and appealing. Despite being called a salad, it is definitely a sweet, fluffy dessert. A spoonful of this will have you grinning like a possum eating a sweet potato. In contrast to the natural organic trends modern society follows, this dish is a symbol of the lighthearted, unpretentious spirit of that era, where packaged foods, like instant pudding, began to dominate the kitchen, and it stands as a sweet legacy of that time. You just can't talk about forgotten Southern desserts without mentioning pecan pralines. This is the crown jewel of Southern confectionery, especially tied to the humid air and jazz of New Orleans. The praline originated from the sugar-coated almonds of France, but when those smart French settlers arrived in Louisiana, they replaced the almonds with native pecans and added cream to make the candy thicker and richer in flavor. Each piece of candy is a caramel-like, pecan-studded block, crisp on the outside, melting in your mouth, delivering the richness and deep sweetness of brown sugar and roasted pecans. The sweet, buttery aroma of praline draws you in like a mermaid song. Down here in the South, we don't just eat praline, we celebrate it as a culinary heritage. It is a sophisticated handcrafted treat, requiring strict temperature control and patience to achieve that perfect texture. This dish is worlds away from the mass-produced industrial candies of today, showcasing the meticulousness and skill of the traditional confectioner. Literally divine, Divinity candy is the South's answer to winter magic, a sweet, airy cloud that melts on the tongue. This is a candy that demands both skill and patience. Divinity is made from sugar, corn syrup, water, and perfectly stiff beaten egg whites, creating a fluffy, marshmallow-like texture, but with a slight crispness on the outside. Making Divinity is a delicate dance with humidity and a test of timing, requiring your grandma to have incredible skill to know exactly when the mixture loses its sheen and begins to hold its shape. The result is a pure white, snowflake-like candy, lighter than traditional nougat and with an almost meringue-like texture. Afterward, the candy is dropped by spoonfuls and crowned with pecans like tiny tiaras, making it an ideal treat for the holidays. This treat was typically made during the colder, drier months. Since high humidity could ruin its delicate texture, your mama would be mighty proud when she managed to make perfect Divinity candy, as it is a recipe that showcases the cook's skill and patience, transforming basic ingredients into an elegant and gentle sweet, a lovely contrast to other heavier desserts on the table. Boiled custard is a rich, creamy tradition deeply rooted in the Appalachian region, often served during the holidays or when the weather turns chilly, either as a liquid dessert or a festive drink. This dish is made from milk, eggs, sugar, and vanilla, cooked slowly over low heat until it thickens into a pudding-like drink or dessert, much thicker than regular eggnog. The cooking process demands constant stirring and patience to prevent the eggs from curdling, a technique every Southern cook mastered. Boiled custard is usually served warm, sprinkled with a touch of nutmeg or cinnamon, providing pure, cozy warmth on cold nights. Many Southern cooks recall making this on frigid winter days, sometimes adding a dash of bourbon or spirits at the end for a festive kick. While store-bought eggnog has taken over the shelves today, homemade boiled custard offers unparalleled warmth and comfort, representing family gatherings where patience was the most crucial ingredient for achieving perfect smooth. The lemon icebox pie is a bright and refreshing Southern classic for those scorching hot days, offering instant relief from the heat. This pie starts with a buttery graham cracker crust, lightly baked until golden and crumbly, giving it that necessary crunch to balance the soft filling inside. The filling is a rich, creamy blend of sweetened condensed milk, fresh lemon juice, and finely grated lemon zest, creating a vibrant sun yellow color and a burst of aroma that wakes up all your senses. The acid from the lemon reacts with the condensed milk, thickening the filling without needing any cooking at all. The secret is its simplicity and being chilled in the ice box, as your grandmama used to call it, before modern refrigerators came along. Some Southern cooks often added cream cheese for extra richness, while others stuck to just egg yolks and condensed milk to keep that clean, fresh, creamy flavor. The final topping might be whipped cream or lightly browned meringue. This summertime dessert represents warm days spent on the porch. And while modern desserts are often packed with preservatives, the lemon icebox pie is the perfect marriage of simple, fresh ingredients, delivering pure, satisfying refreshment. Now, this here is a rich Southern chocolate cake, born in the 1950s, a time when soda pop became all the rage and a modern fixture in the kitchen. It has a deep color, an unbelievably light, airy texture, and a profound caramel sweetness, setting it far apart from regular chocolate cakes. To get that dark hue and fluffiness, those clever Southern cooks secretly added Coca-Cola directly to the hot batter, creating an intriguing chemical reaction. The carbonation in the soda makes the cake lighter and fluffier, and the cola's signature caramel flavor enhances the cake's rich chocolate notes. An essential touch is the mini marshmallows sprinkled over the hot cake right after baking. They melt right into the batter, creating a lasting, soft, creamy richness. Topped off with a warm chocolate glaze dotted with crunchy pecans, this cake is truly unforgettable. This treat is practically a Southern cultural statement. We don't just drink Coke, we use it to bake. Even after all these years, this cake is still so beloved that you'll see folks lining up to grab a piece at Cracker Barrel. It's a unique blend of modern boxed products and traditional kitchen creativity, offering pure, unadulterated comfort. The Hummingbird cake is the belle of the Southern dessert ball, always impressing folks and making them gasp with astonishment. This cake boasts 3 dense, rich, and incredibly moist layers, carrying the warm fragrance of cinnamon, sweet tropical fruit, and rich toasted pecans. The batter recipe is a masterful blend of mashed bananas, crushed pineapple, both the juice and the pulp, and vegetable oil, which keeps the cake soft, ensuring that moisture lasts for days. Legend has it that it's so delicious it makes you hum with happiness right after the first bite. It's typically draped in a thick layer of cream cheese icing, tangy and sweet, perfectly balancing the fruit sweetness. Hummingbird cake symbolizes abundance and generous hospitality. It was often served at big family gatherings. While modern dishes lean toward minimalism and less sugar, Hummingbird cake is an affirmation of elaborate value and complex flavor, representing those festive moments and the joy of family togetherness. If these desserts remind y'all of Grandma's warm kitchen or those sweet Sunday evenings with family, then don't forget to hit that hype button so we can hold on to those childhood flavors together. This was an elegant, delicious staple at church potlucks and more formal family gatherings. Southern cooks mixed eggs, milk, sugar, and shredded coconut to make the golden, fragrant custard filling. The coconut adds both natural sweetness and a pleasant, chewy texture, transforming a simple custard pie into a memorable dish. Families often kept their recipes secret, adding small touches like a sprinkle of nutmeg or lemon zest to create their own unique flavor. Coconut custard pie symbolizes celebration and thoughtfulness, with its rich filling baked in a crisp crust. Although modern coconut cream pie is still popular, the traditional custard version has nearly vanished, leaving a quiet void in the cultural memory of cherished desserts, reminding us of the harmonious blend of richness and the coconut's natural sweetness. Apple Brown Betty is an incredibly resourceful dessert, turning scraps and leftovers into a heartwarming treat, utilizing stale leftover bread, often bread that was a bit hard and no longer good to eat fresh. Waste not, want not used to be a guiding philosophy in the Southern kitchen. Sliced apples are layered alternately with buttery breadcrumbs, brown sugar, and warm spices like cinnamon and nutmeg, then baked until the apples melt into softness and the breadcrumbs turn crisp and golden. This dish was highly valued for its economy and practicality while providing absolute comfort on chilly days, often served warm with a dollop of fresh cream. Apple Brown Betty is proof of resilience, teaching children not to waste food and transforming scarcity into a warm culinary delight, a classic forgotten in the age of convenience. Today, Apple Brown Betty is a reminder of how ingenuity created unforgettable memories, contrasting with how often we throw away leftovers without a second thought. Rice. Pudding is a dish that turns leftovers into comfort, proving that even yesterday's cold rice could become something special and satisfying. The rice is slowly baked with milk, eggs, sugar, and warm spices like cinnamon or nutmeg until it sets into a soft, creamy custard. This dessert taught Southern children the crucial lesson of not wasting food. Raisins were usually added for natural sweetness and chewiness. Rice pudding is filling, affordable, and is the lesson in not wasting food that Southern cooks taught their children and grandchildren. This dish carries the flavor of tradition and practicality. Rice pudding proves that practicality can create sweetness, in stark contrast to modern desserts that often require starting from scratch with fresh, expensive ingredients, highlighting the value of thriftiness. Blackberry jam cake is a richly spiced dessert, a combination of traditional cake and homemade fruit jam. This cake is a magnificent expression of extending the summer harvest into the winter months. The cake is kept moist by homemade blackberry jam stirred directly into the batter, creating a deep fruit flavor and lasting moisture. The batter is heavily seasoned with warm spices like cloves, cinnamon, and nutmeg, creating a complexity of flavor that goes far beyond the simplicity of the recipe. Cooks then usually topped it with a simple cream cheese or caramel frosting. Blackberry jam cake is a comforting dessert, yet special enough to be the centerpiece. Anyone raised here in the South knows that chess pie was the very soul of those Sunday afternoons. The ingredients were surprisingly simple: eggs, sugar, and butter, all beaten till they were smooth as silk, and then secretly spiced up with a touch of vinegar or lemon juice to perfectly balance that sweetness. The real secret, honey, lay in the tablespoon of cornmeal your mama learned to add from your grandma. That humble cornmeal created a custard filling that was both smooth and had a subtle, refined grittiness, setting it worlds apart from any other pie. Once baked, the top of the pie would be glossy and brittle, almost like a thin candy crust, and oh, the kitchen would be swimming in the scent of caramelized sugar and melted butter. When eaten, you could dust it with powdered sugar, or sometimes it was perfect just plain. Southern families just adored chess pie for its simplicity and ease. Every ingredient was right there in the pantry, making it easy for those resourceful grandmamas to whip up anytime, even during hard times. Nowadays, folks go searching for complicated pies loaded with fancy nuts and imported chocolate. But chess pie reminds us that with just the most basic ingredients, you can still craft a truly exceptional flavor. If chess pie brings a modest elegance, then buttermilk pie is that classic Southern pie, humble yet unforgettable from the very first bite. That crust, golden and crisp around the edges, cradles a custard filling smooth as silk, making you sigh with contentment. The filling is a simple yet flavor-rich custard made from sugar, melted butter, fresh eggs, creamy buttermilk. To add some real depth, your grandmama would sneak in a touch of vanilla and sometimes a pinch of nutmeg or a splash of lemon juice for a balancing tang, resulting in that silky smooth texture. This pie stands for reliability and practicality in the kitchen, because those resourceful grandmamas could always pull these ingredients quickly from the icebox or pantry. Even though it's overshadowed today by more elaborate desserts with imported chocolate and nuts, The quiet richness of buttermilk pie tells the tale of those old kitchens where love and thriftiness created something lasting. This was a gentle treat, not too heavy, perfect after a hearty Sunday feast. If you've never had a slice of Lane cake, you are surely missing out on a piece of Southern history. This towering, multi-layered work of art was often served at big events and was a true showstopper. It features 4 layers of snowy white sponge cake, extremely airy and light, using only egg whites to ensure the batter's delicacy and purity. What truly makes the Lane cake famous and so captivating is that rich, grown-up filling. It's a thick, sharply sweet mixture of egg yolks, sugar, butter, fragrant raisins, and shredded coconut, and crucially, a bit of bourbon or spirits to add layers of deep flavor. This cake originated in the 1890s and even won first prize at the Georgia Fair, cementing its position as a culinary icon. It is, in fact, still the official state cake of Alabama. Just like the character Scout Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird once described, its intoxicating flavor could make you drunk on pure happiness. While modern cakes often focus only on flashy appearances and baking speed, Lane cake asserts its worth through the skill and patience required to create each captivating layer of filling, representing love distilled over time. The apple stack cake is a true Appalachian treasure, a deep and heartwarming family tradition. It's a towering stack of thin cake layers, almost like large cookies, with each layer spread with thick, tart homemade apple butter or soaked dried apples. Legend has it that at weddings, neighbors would bring 1 layer of the cake each, and the number of layers showed how much the bride was loved in the community. What's unique about this dish is that it wasn't eaten right after baking. The apple butter had to be allowed to soak into the layers over several days, making this a tradition that demanded patience and family togetherness. The result is a cake that is both tender and chewy, with a rich, rustic flavor of apples and spice. This dish shows the ingenuity of Southerners in preserving and utilizing local fruits. It stands in contrast to today's trend of ordering extravagant, expensive wedding cakes. If y'all enjoyed this video, please leave the number 9 in the comments below. Thank you kindly for helping us preserve those sweet memories. Similar to the apple stack cake, but even more rustic and economical, the molasses stack cake is a dish symbolizing the resourcefulness of Southern grandmamas. This cake consists of multiple thin layers soaked in molasses or sorghum, then stacked high with a layer of sweet molasses or sorghum spread in between. The longer the cake sits, the richer it gets, with the molasses soaking into the layers until it is smooth and soft when sliced, boasting a deep, rustic sweetness. This cake represents the community spirit. Sometimes, each family would contribute 1 layer of cake to build a tall stack for social gatherings or church events. The cake isn't overly sweet like modern treats, but carries the deep, rustic sweetness of molasses, symbolizing the hard work, pride, and togetherness. Molasses stack cake reminds today's generation about the importance of cooperation and simplicity in food, proving that resourcefulness can create sweet celebrations. Sweet potato cobbler transforms the sweet potato, a root vegetable easily stored through winter, into a wonderful dessert, distinct from the traditional sweet potato pie. Thickly sliced sweet potatoes are layered with brown sugar and warm spices like cinnamon and nutmeg, then topped with a crisp, buttery sweet crust. Unlike fruit cobblers, the sweet potato cobbler has a richer, more earthy flavor, providing a cozy, home-style feeling right from the first bite. Southern families valued it for its practicality and the nutritional value of the sweet potato. This dish is a celebration wrapped up in a golden crust, often associated with major holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving. Today, sweet potato pie is still common, but the cobbler version has nearly vanished, and its absence reminds us that we have lost a culinary tradition deeply connected to local land and harvest. Cornmeal pound cake is a rustic yet incredibly dependable cake with a signature texture. Instead of being light and fluffy like traditional pound cake, this one is sturdy, dense, and uniquely textured thanks to the addition of cornmeal to the recipe. It's a marriage between the richness of butter and the slightly rough, earthy flavor of cornmeal, creating an honest taste you won't find anywhere else. This cake was especially popular in rural communities where cornmeal was abundant and cheaper than refined flour. The cake kept well for days, making it a convenient dessert to take when visiting neighbors or for a picnic. Cornmeal pound cake is a dessert that showcases the resourcefulness and thriftiness of Southern cooks, reminding us that everyday ingredients can become treasured items when prepared with love and skill. It might sound strange to modern ears, but potato candy was a hugely popular and beloved recipe during tough times, a testament to the creativity of Southern grandmamas in turning basic food into something special. This candy is made from simple mashed potatoes, often cold leftovers from Sunday dinner, mixed with powdered sugar until it forms a pliable, soft, and easy-to-roll dough. This dough is then rolled into a thin layer, spread with peanut butter on top, and tightly rolled up like a little rug. Finally, it's sliced into attractive pinwheels, showing off the swirl of peanut butter and potato. Potato candy is an affordable sweet, utilizing ingredients you always had on hand, and is proof of ingenuity in transforming something seemingly savory into a wonderful dessert. This treat brings back nostalgia for days when thriftiness was essential, but joy was always found. If your family had a fig tree, you'll surely remember the sticky feeling of picking those figs under the blistering sun, then patiently stirring the jam pot to help Grandma. Those ripe, juicy figs, sweet as honey, their skin splitting open, were the key ingredient for that thick, sweet preserve. The fig jam was mixed right into the spiced cake batter, usually featuring cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, creating a deeply flavored and incredibly moist cake. The cake's flavor is rustic and rich, something you just can't find in other fruitcakes. Some Southern cooks added buttermilk to the recipe for a gentle sour note, helping to mellow the fig jam's sweetness, and often chopped pecans or walnuts were added for crunch in every bite. The cake was usually baked in a bundt or tube pan, creating an attractive shape that didn't need fancy decorating. When the fig preserves cake was sliced, the warm aroma of cinnamon and cloves would drift throughout the kitchen, making everyone automatically rush in to claim their piece. This treat embodies the Southern tradition of self-sufficiency, where nothing went to waste. Today, when we just buy everything pre-packaged, fig preserves cake is a warm reminder of the value of preserving and processing the harvest with your own two hands. In Kentucky history, there's a close, elegant cousin to the chess pie and sugar pie, a dish that offered pure, honest comfort. That's the transparent pie. The name transparent comes from the clear, shimmering custard filling beneath the golden, crisp pie crust, creating a captivating and mysterious look. It needs no pecans, chocolate, or elaborate fruit. This dessert symbolizes thriftiness yet elegance, as Southern cooks learned how to create an impressive treat solely from butter, sugar, eggs, and a touch of flavoring, turning scarcity into a work of art. When baked perfectly, the top crust might have a slight caramelization, brittle when you pierce it with a fork, standing in beautiful contrast to the warm, smooth custard filling underneath. The sophistication of the transparent pie lies in its balanced sweetness, not overly sharp like many modern desserts, allowing the flavor of the high-quality butter and eggs to truly shine. Nowadays, this dish has almost vanished from modern dinner tables, but it remains a reminder that even the simplest recipes require skill and a certain measure of love to achieve that inimitable perfection. Have y'all ever heard tell of a pie born out of desperation? Well, that's another name for vinegar pie, a Southern miracle born from hard times and pure ingenuity, a genuine desperation pie. This pie has been around forever, with recipes appearing as far back as the 1850s, preceding both the Civil War and the Great Depression, when citrus fruits like lemon were mighty hard to find or just too costly in the South. Instead of giving up, grandmamas added vinegar, usually apple cider vinegar, to the mixture of sugar, butter, and eggs to create a slight tartness, which cut the sweetness of the sugar and butter. This dish symbolizes resilience and the ability to create sweetness when the pantry shelves were bare, proving that Southern cooks could turn the most basic ingredients into pure joy. While many folks today might wrinkle their nose at the sound of vinegar in a pie, those who grew up with it know that the first bite is a revelation. Sharp, sweet, and comforting all at once. When you eat vinegar pie, you're not just having dessert, you're tasting a piece of the history of the Southern people. This treat reminds us of an era where thriftiness was valued over extravagance, contrasting sharply with today's habits of quick, readily available consumption. Banana pudding is the crown jewel of Southern dessert recipes, a multi-layered masterpiece everyone craves, tied to every Sunday supper and church picnic. The ingredients include homemade custard, sliced bananas, and of course, crisp vanilla wafers. Your mama would carefully layer the bananas, wafers, and custard in a big glass bowl so everyone could admire its beauty. Although the first recipe appeared up north, it became a Southern staple in the 1920s when clever cooks started substituting sponge cake with vanilla wafers. This ingenuity became so popular that Nabisco printed the recipe right on their cookie boxes, making this dish indispensable. While the basic recipe is already delicious, many Southern cooks often elevated it by topping it with a layer of golden brown meringue instead of whipped cream, creating a light, crisp shell that encased the rich, creamy filling. The sound of a spoon cracking that crisp meringue was the soundtrack of busy weeknight dinners in the South. It's a shame that nowadays many folks prefer using instant pudding mix to save time, gradually forgetting the slow-simmered custard that your grandma patiently stirred on the stove. These tea cakes are not fancy, brittle cookies or elaborate pastries. They are soft, round cakes that sit somewhere between a cookie and a cake, deliberately not too sweet. They require just simple pantry staples: flour, butter, sugar, eggs, and milk. Your grandma would knead the dough and roll it out thin, using a drinking glass to cut simple circles, baking them until they were perfectly pale gold, boasting a subtle yet never overpowering vanilla flavor. This was a staple Southern treat for over 250 years, passed down through generations like a treasured family secret. When you bite into an old-fashioned Southern tea cake, you're not just tasting a cookie, you're tasting history. This was the perfect little snack to enjoy with a cup of coffee after Sunday supper. They were often baked in big batches for those Sunday gatherings after church. The modesty of tea cakes is a lovely contrast to the extravagance of a complex layer cake, reminding us that sometimes the greatest comfort lies in the most familiar and simple things. This treat is an authentic culinary tradition, passed down not through written recipes, but through the feel and experience of practiced hands. In the middle of the century, there was a festive dessert recipe that caused a sensation called pineapple upside-down cake. This dish started with a generous amount of yellow butter and brown sugar melted directly in a cast iron skillet instead of a regular baking pan, creating a sticky, rich caramel layer at the bottom. Next, canned pineapple rings, a practical and inexpensive ingredient readily available year-round, along with bright red maraschino cherries, were carefully arranged on the caramel layer, forming an appealing decoration. This cake displays the vibrant, cheerful hospitality of the South. A simple batter is poured on top and baked, and when the cake is flipped over, the caramel and fruit run down, becoming a glossy, sticky topping that brings back nostalgia and feels just like sunshine. For Southern cooks, this was a practical yet deeply impressive dish, a wonderful choice for potlucks. The blend of the pineapple's tartness, the cherry's sweetness, and the caramelized butter created a treat whose mere aroma made the whole family anxiously wait. Even though there are many modern cakes today, this one remains a warm reminder of Sunday dinners and birthdays, showing the baker's care. Even though time has passed, these old desserts still remind us of the craftsmanship and love that our grandparents put into each recipe. If these classic flavors resonate with you, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss out on future nostalgic journeys. And if you're curious about how Grandma used tomato juice to tenderize meat, turned apple peels into scented candles, or added salt to her coffee to reduce bitterness, then check out the video, 40 Clever Food Hacks Grandma Used to Make Cooking Easier. You'll be surprised by the incredibly clever tips